Hello and welcome to The Rare Agent, where we pull back the curtain on all things real estate. We're your hosts, Mary Jo and Christina. Marae is away this week, but she'll be back with us next week. We're offering up a judgment-free zone for collaboration over competition. We would love to introduce our today's guest, a realtor who wears many hats, an entrepreneur, a content creator, Airbnb aficionado, and last but not least, the founder of the Residency Group, the one and only Matt Campoli.
It's quite the intro.
I didn't wear any hats today.
No, but
like
you
I
had
should.
A
many.
nice coat, though. You had a very nice coat.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a coat season. I'll wear many coats.
What many coats?
I'm already got the turtlenecks out. Like I'm just,
Overnight,
it's
literally
turtleneck
overnight.
season.
Candles on, comfy clothes.
What was it, like
That's
25 degrees last week? And now it's like,
I was scootering around, loving life. Like it was good.
Yeah.
Today.
Life was good.
life is still good, just it's cold.
It's
It's
so
a cold good.
It's cold good.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt, I know you're all over social media and you have a great channel and you produce amazing content. But for some of us who don't know who you are, tell us, how long have you been in real estate? What made you get into real estate? Let us know a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to kudos to you guys on this podcast.
Thank you.
It's been good. I've been seeing it everywhere, seeing it grow. So I like what you're doing.
Thank you. We're trying.
Thanks for having me. Honored.
You're definitely someone who we inspired the formation of it. And, that's a really great compliment. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
And your hair looks good, as she said.
Yeah, it does, right? That's the first thing I noticed when I came in. I'm like, your hair looks really good.
I washed it yesterday.
Love that. See, it's always day old wash. It's always better.
Yeah.
But so my name's Matthew. Somehow stumbled into real estate.
Would you prefer us to call you Matthew?
Matthew doesn't matter.
Okay.
Matthew's usually when I'm in trouble
Oh,
with my
okay.
mother.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we won't call you Matthew.
We'll keep it.
We want you to stick around.
Then my parents were actually pissed when I made my Treb name Matt. They're like, why? Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
What's your background?
Italian.
I'm Greek and Italian, so I get it.
Yeah.
Broomstick.
Yes.
Yes.
Or the slipper.
Yes, the slipper. The
Yeah,
famous
slipper
slipper.
You
was-
should do some video about the slipper.
I'm from Vaughan,
Okay.
obviously. I don't know if there's lots of Italians
Lots of
there.
Italians there.
It makes sense. And I have a listing in
Woodbridge.
Woodbridge. And Maple.
Okay,
Big
yeah, I was just going
difference.
to say
I'm from
Woodbridge
Maple.
is the next one. Okay.
I'm from Maple. Okay,
You
big
came later.
difference.
You came
It's the
later.
north. Big difference. My mom moved to Woodbridge though before I moved downtown. So I grew up there. I was there for like 7 years, but one of my listings is in Woodbridge right now. So I did a whole thing on that, playing off the cultural Italian Woodbridge guy
Did somebody attack you with
for
a
my
slipper?
listing. No, we brought slippers.
You brought slippers, okay.
We wore slippers
I
and
missed
lots of
that video. I'm
espressos.
sorry.
Lots of espresso.
I didn't post it yet.
Oh, you haven't
I'm
posted
actually
it
waiting
yet.
to sell the house first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I do
Yeah.
watch your videos because I think they're quite entertaining. Like the
Yeah.
new one with Cash is hilarious.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I was like, I missed that.
I watched
I'm
that
so
this
sorry.
morning. I did a quick okay, let me see what this guy's about this morning.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
you got
appreciate
a lot
that.
of interesting stuff.
Yeah, thank
especially
you.
the Florida stuff. But let's go back to
Yeah, so 7
you are.
years. I mean, I wanted to do a million different things. Cop first. Love military. That's a big secret of mine. Not secret. Some people know, but fun fact.
wow.
Really interested in military stuff. So I always wanted to join the army or better. I didn't want to go fight in Afghanistan. So it's maybe I'll be a cop, join ETF, be in the SWAT, and then didn't want to be a cop after. I got pulled over once. I don't want to be that guy. So went to school for university. Went to university for history and got my degree. And then I was thinking about teaching. And then I started to, around 19, I accidentally started barbering because my friends were cheap. And they're like, Matt, we want free haircuts. We know your mom's a hairstylist. She has all the equipment. Come over, cut our hair. I was like, all right, cool. I was into the cool hairstyles and stuff. My mom was obviously into that scene. So started shaving heads and then giving guys fades, YouTubing how to fade hair. And then ended up at 19, started hitting the clubs with my friends who had these fades. Everyone's like, where'd you guys get these haircuts? Like, oh, Matt, can we come see you? I'm like, I guess. So I accidentally started a barber business.
Wow.
And then that kind of woke up the entrepreneur in me because I realized, cool, I can work for myself. People are coming for me, for my service. They're enjoying spending time with me every half hour and my haircuts are pretty good. And that grew. So when I started to volunteer for this teaching gig I wanted to get into, first thing I started to ask was what's the max you can make as a teacher? I started to open up my horizons a little bit and my limiting beliefs. And I learned what the numbers were. And just from a personal level, it just wasn't for me. I just I want to get into something maybe with no ceiling And then my mom, because she was renting her whole life with me as growing up, she finally purchased her Woodbridge house. And
What a great story.
and I went to the showing and I saw the realtor pull up in his Mustang doing his thing. And I was like, okay, this is a job. This is cool. I was trying to figure out like, how do I leverage this network I had? All these like barber clients.
So smart.
I was thinking like, well, I'm 23 at this point.
Oh, okay.
So I'm 4 years into the barber thing.
Okay.
Graduated
Yeah,
uni.
but you've grown a network.
You grew a network through it.
Yeah, I did it for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Even when I first got into real estate, I continued the barbering because I felt it was a good
That's
layup.
the smartest thing to do, I think, when you get into
Yeah.
real estate is to have something else where you're meeting people.
Exactly.
Right? Because that's how you keep your network going. Like, I think anybody who has a side of something where, they're networking.
Yeah.
Sports, whatever.
Yeah. It was like the alley oop. It's like, okay, this is just kind of a little funnel,
Yeah.
hopefully, and feed this new business. So yeah, I started to research real estate. Like, what do realtors make? Okay, all commission, but no ceiling. I'm like, so this is up to me based on how I want to perform.
100% up to you.
So I'm like, okay, I can get behind this idea. So I got my university degree finished, went straight into OREA, did the 3 courses because back then it was barely anything, thank God. And and then found a mentor, and I got right into real estate. Kept the barbering going for about 2.5 years into real estate.
You found a mentor? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
So one of my best friends, his cousin, he always talked highly about. His name was Joe.
So you didn't join a team. You stayed on.
So I didn't join a team instantly, but I joined Joe's brokerage, and then I found a gentleman, Mike Samra. I don't know if you guys know Mike.
No.
He owns his own brokerage now too, but I joined under his team. So between the both of them, I learned like old school. Like Joe had me in the office 8 a.m. every day. I was in barber life. I was used to setting my schedule. I'll start cutting hair at 11 till about like 7. I was in the gym till like 1 a.m. every night after haircuts. So like my sleeping pattern was off. So when this guy's like 8 a.m. you're
Like
in the
the club
office,
scene.
I was like, holy crap, that's like what?
Your whole clock had to change.
Like 8 a.m. That's crazy. Like that's nuts. So I forced myself in the office. Like you're on the phones 9 to 11. Like who do I call? Like figure it out. Pick a
Did
street.
they give you contact lists?
No.
No. Okay.
Super
so you
old
were
school.
full on cold
Threw me
calling.
right into the deep end,
Wow.
which I appreciate so much.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
you would, because people getting into real estate now have no idea
Yeah.
about where to start.
Yeah. So super old school. He's
And they're
like,
not
go
taught.
knock
They're
on
not
doors.
taught that
No.
at all. Like the basics.
Yes.
They think, okay, I'm going to get into real estate, and money's just going to fall from the trees.
No, people are just going to use me because I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
Now that I say that I'm a realtor, they're just going to use me.
Yeah.
And you realize how little people move and how they have relationships with people beforehand.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just, it definitely is a lot of like lessons learned when you get in.
Yeah.
Because you think of it as one way. You're like, of course, I have a license. Everybody's going to use me. And you're like, no one uses you.
Well, I had that whole conflict with myself too, like the imposter syndrome. Like, why are people going to use me? 24.
24. So
I
I got
look
into
really
it at
young.
24 as well.
I had braces.
Oh, yeah.
I was
that's tough.
26. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Braces is
you
a
know?
tough one to get by. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like people are going to trust me with their thing, and I wasn't educated on the business world. I studied history.
Yeah.
I was into sports history, and I barbered, got hair.
So how did you differentiate yourself?
I was very creative. I was always this creative guy. Haircutting. I always had like this artsy side to me.
Yeah. Because you were already YouTubing your haircuts.
Yeah.
So you knew that could be a vessel for, well, I'm assuming, but a vessel for your business.
Yeah. Well, I was on social media. I was into it already. Like
You grew up with it pretty much.
yeah,
right?
like I was like posting my fitness results and partying and like all this, just my life,
Yeah.
And like I started to build, and for the barbering, I started to become like the guy to cut hair, right? So everywhere I went, it's like, oh, you're that barber. So I just
Was that your tagline? That barber?
No, I didn't have one of those. Actually, sorry, I
That
did.
guy.
I had a name, Jerry Cuts. My middle name was Jerry. My middle name is Jerry.
I figured you must have had a handle of some kind.
My family Canadianized my Italian middle name to Jerry with a G. And so people call me Jerry Cuts.
Okay.
So I was known as Jerry Cuts.
Are you still known as Jerry Cuts?
To those who came to me, yeah, as like a little,
Do you ever cut anybody's hair now?
no,
No.
but I can.
Yeah.
It's just built in, second nature.
I might bring my son to you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I would totally.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I should just do like a hair cutting, like just cut someone and just do like a podcast, like just to bring it back,
Absolutely should.
Yeah.
You
Oh
can
my
have my
goodness, that's
son
a great idea.
As a that would be entertaining.
Yeah. He would totally entertain. But that is a smart, like, realtor chats while cutting hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can bring it back.
Kind of like the LeBron thing where everybody sits around on like Clutch Sports and they
Yeah.
all sit around and they're like getting haircuts or fades or whatever. And they're just like discussing.
Yeah.
The fade's back.
Yeah.
In
Everything.
a big way.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like in a big way. Like I think my friend's father just went and got his first fade. He's like 80.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. He's like, I'm going to go get a fade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy. So excited.
It's a ever-changing landscape, men's hair. Very
Like
seasonal.
one of the go-to gifts for my fiance is I'm going to get you a shave and do the whole thing. So he gets like the towel and all that stuff. And it's like a gift,
Well,
an easy man gift.
I mean, I go once a week. I'm one of those guys, but men are very into like
You go once a week to what? Get a shave?
haircut and
You have
clean
a
up.
standing appointment.
Yeah, with my best friend. He also owns a barbershop. We actually start at the same time, which is a fun dynamic. But
I love
yeah, so I'm very into it. But a lot of men are, so it's still like a very.
Do you have to come into the city or is it in Vaughan?
It's in Vaughan.
Perfect.
Yeah, my car loves me.
That's
Yeah.
true. I was like, oh yeah, you live in the city, not still in Vaughan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we know what he did before real estate now.
Yeah.
Next
Well,
question.
I mean, one of the things that I was really fascinated by was your Airbnb business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to jump right into that.
Okay. Yeah, you're
yeah.
skipping lots.
Sorry, I know. I just because I looked you up and I'm like, this Airbnb thing I know is a big thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it's an investment strategy. You know, like everybody's trying to figure out how can they make money.
Yeah.
Where can I invest right now, especially in this kind of market? So, what got you into Airbnbs? And I'm assuming you have one here, and then you also have some
One in
in the
Florida.
States. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have two.
So, you started here?
Started here,
Okay.
and I don't know what it was that can't really pinpoint the day where I discovered it, but I remember the connection I made with a certain like couple guys who owned a property management company, and they were able to instantly share with me like some of the numbers, right? And this is when I did a couple of my first deals. I think I was in probably year 2, 2.5,
You've been
year
here for a
3.
little while.
Yeah, since 2019. So when I got introduced to it, and I'm like, oh wow, you can make like $4,000 a month when like regular rent at the time was like $2,000. I'm like,
Just
you're
before
literally making
COVID.
double. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you can make $4,500 a month. Like numbers are actually way different now, but back then no one was still really cash flowing
Yeah.
with Toronto condos, right? And my network, a lot of them were the only thing they can afford was a condo, and
Was this
Like-
before they put the rules in for Airbnb?
Yes.
Okay.
so I was like, how can I make this make sense for people? Like, oh, this Airbnb actually can make sense. Like, because condos were actually appreciating nicely
Yeah.
around that time. Plus, they can cash flow. I'm like, this is a great investment for my people, right?
Yeah.
So I started to go heavy into that. I started to make videos around it. Obviously, bought my own to like walk the walk. And COVID hit. So I started a YouTube thing. I started promoting it. Then COVID hit, and there's so much uncertainty. So I decided I don't want to push this anymore. So I actually fell off Airbnb completely because until I was confident that it would be good for people again. So I'm like, I'm going to do this in the background myself, fail, do what I need to do until I'm confident and I can bring this back to my clients, my investors, and the people out there that this is still a good play because I had no idea where things were headed. COVID, obviously, with 2020, there's no vacationing. No one was going anywhere. We're in lockdown. So
Well,
we
you
weren't
couldn't-
seeing any returns.
You couldn't give condos away at the end of 2020. Like,
No.
You just, it was a terrible market.
we tried. I have partners on my condo, and we were like, let's just sell it. And thank God we didn't. We couldn't move it.
No.
Thank God. It was one of those fear things, right? And
Well, the tail end of 2020, I think, I can't remember how many were on the market, but I think it's more than I've ever seen.
yeah, the inventory.
Yeah, November 2020 was like the real down of that market because
Yeah.
then it started to shoot back up going into 2021.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So then the rules came out for the regulations in Toronto. So if people want to know what they are, it's you can only short term for 180 days out of the year. Has to be primary residence, and the other 180 days have to be long term. So 28 days or more,
Yeah.
right?
And it has to go through management, right?
You have to get a license. It's through the city, and you can only have one primary. So the scalability was gone,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Which was an issue for some. People still work around it. I don't know what they do. They do, but
They brought in
you need individual
moratoriums in
licenses.
a lot of places too. Like my friend owns one in Prince Edward County, and they put a moratorium out there.
Yep.
So if you didn't have it, you're never getting it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
it was tough.
And to top it off, only certain buildings that allow it. right? And then now, as of late, some buildings have changed their rules.
Even the ones that used to allow.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
very, very few actually allow it now.
exactly. So I'm blessed, probably in the best one in the city. This wood? Hope so. I don't think
Fake wood.
I'm gonna
It's
figure
fake
it out.
wood,
This
yeah.
is wood.
It's made from wood
So,
particles.
but yeah, honestly, since then, like I'll just fast forward. It's been an incredible business. Like it's
Okay.
been a cash cow.
So
Ever
you
since
still own a
Toronto's back.
condo that allows
Yes.
Airbnb?
Yeah.
Which one is this? Which building?
300 Front Street.
I figured.
They
yeah.
still have that. Okay.
Big time. Tried
But
out
how-
building.
so
Amazing management.
Is that your address? Is
Yeah.
that your primary?
Yeah,
We don't need to know exacts.
that's
you know.
my primary.
Okay, got
License is there.
it. Got it.
Doing everything by the book. Only short terming 6 months out of the year, and even last year, like we cash flowed like $29,000
Can anybody still buy in that building and have Airbnb? Yeah. Okay.
if you want. So
Mm-hmm.
numbers this year we're gonna see year over year, but it probably a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
The city's really tightening
Yeah.
on the rules for sure.
Yeah, I've heard.
But I mean, it's still doing exceptionally well, and Toronto's like just bringing in more things now. You know,
So give us an example of what you would get for monthly rent versus what you make Airbnb for 1 month.
so we turn off our long term when we follow the rule and go 28 days or more. It's the winter time because no one's really vacationing in Toronto. So we're taking a bit of a hit. We're probably making 2,200 to 2,500. I have a 1+10, 1+10, one bathroom with parking.
How many square feet?
700.
Okay.
Okay, so right now I'd probably get what, like 200 bucks maybe,
yeah.
right? $3,000
Yeah.
furnished.
Yes.
Okay, conservatively. In the winter, we're taking like 2,200 to 2,500.
For 28 days.
Yeah, for the
How
month.
do you, and that's on Airbnb.
That's through Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
So people are
that's
either
how you
booking
know.
like consecutive months, or we're just getting like John for this month, February,
Okay.
January was Billy, like who knows?
Yeah.
Right?
So I was just thinking, because, I've heard horror stories where people say, oh, it's only going to be a short-term rental, but they can't get the people out. So I was just wondering how you mitigate that. But if it's through Airbnb, then
It's Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's
makes sense.
never been an issue for you.
I've never had an
never
issue.
had any issues. I have an amazing property management company that runs it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really hands off.
What do they charge you?
20%.
20%.
Yeah.
Wow. But worth it.
Every penny.
Oh,
I
cool.
forget I have. It's like the most passive investment ever.
Really?
Yeah. We just get our monthly checks and that's it.
Okay.
So fast forward to summer months. This is when the good numbers, we're making anywhere from 9 to 15,000 a month.
Wow.
Gross. Yeah. And
What's
our
a
carrying
per
costs,
night? What's a per night rate you charge for
it can
that?
range like 500 to 900,
Amazing.
depending on the time. Like TIFF, crazy.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Taylor Swift for next year, I already have a weekend book for $5,000.
A weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the hotels are booked
Wow.
for
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
And that's just for the first show. We haven't opened up show 2 yet. So my November of next year, we're probably already looking at 15,000. And that's a slow month,
Wow.
usually.
And so your management handles the cleaning, they
Everything,
handle
the
everything.
bookings, the pricing.
Everything.
That's why my buddy owns it. It's called Park Place. I'll shout them out.
Park Place Management?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know Park Place?
I don't, but I do now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can set you guys up with
What's
them
up,
too.
Park Place?
And so I like the owner hit me up. He's like, man, you won't believe your Taylor Swift booking for next year. So like they're on it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
And she's got
they already
fixed
knew.
concerts. So
Yeah.
like you're going to be booked solid.
yeah. So it really
Wow.
depends on what's going on. Like the Drake concert, I don't even know what we did this month, but like,
What did you do for Beyonce?
I don't know. It's a good I should look and check.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's super passive. I just really trust what's going on. I trust the system.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbers have been really good. Like we've been,
So you have a partner with this.
yeah.
Okay. And did you guys open up corporation and just everything goes through that?
No, actually.
Oh.
So it is personal, and we've learned, but hasn't been that bad. It's 3 of us,
Mm-hmm.
so that income divided, we're not really. It's
Yeah.
spread out.
It's become even more passive now. It's just like, oh, this
Yes.
is amazing to
Yeah,
have. Mm.
yeah. So for 3 of us, like for example, like last year, the 29,000 divided by 3 cash flow,
Okay.
still healthy even for a
Well, it's
single
paying for
person.
itself and you're making some passive income.
Exactly.
So that's amazing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the property's increasing in value,
Yeah.
right? You're building equity. Amazing.
Yeah, prime location in Toronto.
So with co-sharing, they usually talk about like, you have a contract in place that says like in 5 years, we're going to reevaluate this and see if we want to sell or if we want to leave.
Yeah.
How do you guys have it planned between you, the 3 of you?
We have we kind of had the same, like a 5-year plan. We've had conversations. It has to be unanimous. That's how we have it set out. We've had conversations of like, should we sell it? What should we do? But then we see we get the summer months and we're loving it. We just see the numbers come in and we're like, guys, this is amazing,
I mean, as long as it's making money, why would
Yeah.
you sell it?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
So-
never out of pocket, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
No. No. Ultimately, we're well in the green. Even like that's why I mentioned the slow months. Yeah, we're out of pocket, but when
But not
the
really,
summer
I mean-
months come in,
Yeah.
it averages out, and then we're a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
positive
if we
cash
put it
flow.
into an account, then I mean,
Yeah.
it just covers.
Yeah,
fine.
I mean to even do like 20,000 in cash flow on a Toronto property, like it's unheard of.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Especially
the
for
only.
a condo, especially now. Like
Yeah.
it is unheard of.
Yeah.
No one's cash flowing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Very
So
difficult.
and even like I like to call it recession proof too, because we just renewed, and even with our a renewed rate, our new mortgage amount, we're still cash flowing.
Wow.
So
How old was your rate? Like how big of a jump was it?
we had it at 2.95 to 5.1.
That's significant.
Yeah,
And you're still
$1,000 more a month.
and you're still cash flowing.
Yeah, ultimately, it's not going to be the 29,000 we saw last year,
Yeah.
but we're still going to be in the green,
Again, as long as you're
right?
cash
So
flowing.
exactly.
It's a
So
good
like
thing.
to not feel the effects of what's going on right now, and to just mitigate everything that's going on, and then hopefully in the future we renew even lower.
Yeah. Well, and
Right.
also as Airbnb gets even more strict, you may be the only building and eventually that can do Airbnb.
That's the thing too. So a lot of because of the red tape, it was like that opposite effect. A lot of people got scared of even trying to invest in Airbnb. It's like, oh, it's so many regulations, like so many rules. It's confusing. I don't want to. A lot of inventory came back to the long-term market, and what that did was took out all the competition and just funneled more to those who were still doing the Airbnb. And that's why like our occupancy rates like crazy.
Are you cheaper than hotels then, generally speaking?
I think pretty on par. And with everything going up in the world right now, so
Yeah.
are the nightly rates,
Okay.
right? So like our income's actually
it was so good traveling during COVID. Everything was so cheap.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And then like the year later, I tried to book the same hotel. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, Niagara
I don't belong
Falls is
here.
now like 5 times the price. I'm like, Niagara Falls.
yeah,
Why?
Niagara's
So the-
expensive.
It's gotten super
That's another
expensive.
good Airbnb market.
Yes.
Well, I heard they're moving Wonderland there. Is that
Oh,
true? I heard Canada's Wonderland is
I should know that. I'm from Maple, but no.
Well, you should know that.
That's
I mean,
a big deal. I haven't heard that news either.
I heard
heard
their
that.
land lease is up and they're moving it to Niagara, and Niagara's going to be, and I could be totally wrong on this. This could be hearsay, but this is what I've heard.
That's prime.
So maybe
it's
that's
prime
something
location.
that-
How long was that land lease was not long enough?
I couldn't tell you.
Because I feel like it was being built while like
I
it
don't know.
should have been longer, but whatever.
Who knows? Something
very
you can
cool
look
though. I
into.
should probably find
Matt,
this out.
Yeah, find that out and let us know.
I will.
So you segued then from the Toronto market to
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah. Also a COVID thing.
Also a COVID thing.
Um,
so what led you there?
Well, the Airbnb market was questionable in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
and again, the property management company that I use, very in with them. So I'm always conversing. I'm essentially on the inside and always picking their brain because they're active investors themselves, and they moved everything. They sold the Toronto properties and they pushed everything to Miami. And he just kept sending me his numbers, like, Matt, look what we're doing over here, 10K a month, 10K a month, no rules, no regulations, right? So, because Florida became a hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a lot of people just with the remote working and stuff, everyone's like, let's go to Florida.
Florida and
Less
Texas.
strict. Texas,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
live a little bit more free, I guess you can say. And so it became a hotspot for travel,
Mm-hmm.
people moving, and their real estate market went up significantly. And then so did the Airbnb market, became very popular. The thing with Florida right now is it became saturated. So because there's not too many rules and regulations, like there's certain pockets you can't Airbnb, but I'm in Fort Lauderdale. That's where I have my house. And I mean, it still makes sense in terms of what I bought a house for relative to a Toronto house. Still way cheaper. But there's a lot of competition because there's no rules. You still need to get a license, but there's no like 6-month rule. There's no primary resident rule. Like you can own as many as you want out there.
So everybody jumped into the trend.
Everyone,
already.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I foresee Florida, like I know, and again, just speaking to them down there and on the inside, I know a lot of people are moving back to the long term because there's not too much of a difference in terms of income. So hopefully that same effect of that what happened in Toronto, maybe some inventory comes off the market in the short term. We're going to keep ours running.
Yeah.
And now we're actually hitting the summer months, the hot months for Florida, which
Yeah.
is
Winter.
the cold months here,
Yeah.
right? Their summer months are actually slow season.
Yeah.
Now the fall, winter, where we're going to start to see hopefully a lot more real income coming in. So what we did is we made our house different. We called it the Villa Vuitton, and we made a designer home. So like these themed homes,
Yeah.
we're doing a little bit better to stand out over the average home because of the amount of inventory out there. It's like let's give people a reason to book ours. We put like a Louis Vuitton wall. multiple places where people could take pictures, made it super trendy, pool table.
That's smart.
All these things where it's like, oh, I want to book this place because it has a pool table, ping pong table, Louis Vuitton feature wall. We could take pictures,
Did you get that idea from your friends who were already doing stuff like that? Okay.
Because their best performing houses were their Fendi house, their Prada house, their Gucci house.
Wow.
So we did the Louis Vuitton
Says a lot
house.
about the States.
Right? Yeah. Don't know about the demographic we're attracting into these homes, but
okay.
You know. No,
I wonder if they own Louis.
It's been good.
I wonder if they own any Louis Vuitton when they come in.
Well, I mean,
Is it an expensive rental?
no, not even.
Well, what's expensive?
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
I'd say at like $400 a night.
Oh my God. Well, US.
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 No,
So-
Canadian. Sorry, 400 Canadian. on average.
That's really
what?
good.
350 to 3 bedroom, 1,800 square foot bungalow.
Wow.
3
Is there a
bathroom.
pool? Like, is it in a
No
complex?
pool.
No pool.
If we had a pool, and no complex. If we had a pool, we could charge more.
Okay.
But it's like 12-minute drive right to the water, 5-minute drive to Las Olas. Like it's prime location, 7 minutes from the airport.
So when you had to buy in Florida, what were some of the hurdles that you faced?
It's a lot. It was such a wing. I was actually on Zorak's retreat in Costa Rica.
I've been to that one as well. Me and Murray were both there.
Yeah. And we weren't looking in Fort Lauderdale initially. We were looking in Miami. And we didn't have our financing ready. And this is what actually made me do this whole push into investing in Florida and why I got behind this. But no financing in place yet. Perfect house came up. We were multiple offers. Me being the realtor, I'm like, screw it. I'll overpay. I don't care. Like, just want to get this thing. 12 offers, okay? We paid what we had to pay, got the house. No conditional financing, just condition of inspection. And we had our deposit in. And me and my partner, because he's exactly like me, which probably isn't the best, but we're like, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. Like, no fear. So I'm in Costa Rica. And I was pretty confident through the mortgage broker out there that we were good to go. And then I found out that we couldn't do 20% down, had to do 30, and like there's all these extra fees. So we firmed up on the home and had no financing, and closing was coming up. So this is my whole Costa Rica experience. I'm trying to zen out while knowing I just firmed up on a house in Florida
that
I maybe not be able to close. So yeah. But anyways,
very hard to zen out under those conditions.
very hard, but still did it and ended up getting 20% down, ended up getting everything to work out perfectly.
But did you have to open up an LLC?
We did. Because of the speed we did it in, we bought it personally.
Okay.
And then we had to
transfer,
switch it all out after
okay,
to make more sense from an investment standpoint. But because of just the urgency and just to get the house we really wanted, we just had to buy it personally. We didn't have time to set up anything. So I wouldn't recommend this to anybody.
Yeah, I feel like
Putting
that's a
it
bit
out there.
more of a costly way of doing it.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be a little bit more like do your research. We just got excited and love this house. So, but it all worked out.
Yeah,
ultimately.
Absolutely. Like,
how many years ago was that?
We got it in April 2022.
so is it finance? Is it American financing? Like through American Bank, obviously.
Yeah. We did it through TD.
Okay.
And they have a promotion with Canadians. You can do 20% down.
Oh,
for a secondary home.
Okay, I didn't.
That's
know
a
that.
really good info.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
I thought you'd have to go directly to like an American bank and do something.
TD US.
Oh,
it is American.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, but
yes.
since we have it here.
Yeah,
never mind. I'm showing how airheaded I am right now.
It's easy. No.
Well, I mean, how would you know, right?
I was like, maybe you have to go to like the Bank of America and say, hey, I need it. Like, you didn't really, but yes, of course, TD is in the States.
Well, that's what we brought. We did our event last year called Path to Profit. We're doing another one this year. And I teamed up with Spark Financial, and they offer a full concierge.
Who's Spark Financial?
So they're a mortgage brokerage, lenders here that I work with. Yeah.
Here, okay.
So they do a lot of work with me on the Toronto side.
Okay.
And Nick, who's one of the owners there, he ended up opening up Spark Financial Florida.
Oh,
so they opened up an entire arm in Florida to provide services to Canadians because he saw the pain point. I'm like, man, that's perfect. Let's do something together. So we started off as like a little webinar, turned into a 700-person event.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
And they put together an entire concierge service. So it's a one-stop shop. Whatever you need the lawyer, the accountant, cross-border accountants.
This is good because I find a lot of people really struggle with where to start.
Exactly.
Where do I get my
That's what we saw.
financing? Because I was looking at properties a few years ago down in the States, and I got put off by the whole process.
Exactly.
because
So
it's intense. There's a lot you have to do, and I wouldn't have done it the way that you did it because I'm a bit more
yeah,
I'm just OCD that
Normal.
way. But well,
you're a bit more normal.
yeah, well, you said it. Not
All
me.
the info first.
So yeah, we put together like the one-stop shop, and it was a hit. So everyone just, you just plug into the concierge, and we have everything you need. The commercial agents, the agents in different parts of Florida, the lenders through Spark, the lawyers, accountants, all that stuff.
That's amazing.
Get you
That's
set
so
up
good to know.
with properly tax structure before you actually move forward.
Out of that 700 person event, could you share with us how many people actually transacted afterwards? Was it
So 70 people signed up, so 10%. I'm not too sure where they're at with how many actually transacted after. Obviously, the market being the way it is, it's going to be a little bit slower.
what a great funnel?
Yeah, it worked out really well. But
Yeah.
a lot, and we learned a lot.
Yeah.
We did learn a lot. And this year we're changing it up where we're actually bringing the developers, so a lot of the product to sell at the event.
Oh, cool.
Oh, smart.
So we're going to have a lot of the different Florida developers in different parts of Florida there in person, where if you want to bring a checkbook and, write a check, you can. But the option to just go straight to source is there for people versus coming through us. Like, we still have everything you need,
Yeah.
but if you want to just talk straight to the, the horse's mouth, you can.
That's smart. It's interesting how you just kind of fell into all of these things by being the guinea pig.
Well, you're such an
essentially.
opportunist. Like, you see an opportunity, you take it. You don't think you're like, and that's just amazing.
It's
'Cause
rare. It's rare.
There you go. I'm a bit of a yes man.
Yeah.
So-
okay. You just
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
for
I
sure.
know how to set boundaries now, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. You see an opportunity, and you know what? Like, they don't last very long.
And you don't worry so much about like if it's like you're like we're gonna figure it out. Like we're gonna hit some hiccups, but we're gonna figure it out.
I'm big law of attraction guy.
Mm.
Big believer in like everything's gonna work out how it
You
should.
mentioned limiting beliefs earlier,
Yes.
which stuck with me because we're all going through that, trying to figure stuff out and stopping yourself from doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah. So like, although I know there's challenges, there's going to be bumps in the road. Like, I'm very confident in believing in what I'm going to accomplish, however that is, and however it unfolds, it will.
Have you read The Surrender Experiment?
And Michael Singer?
Yeah,
No, but I'm familiar with it.
that's one of my favorite books.
I know it's similar, right?
Very, very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea of just like, you know what, you can't control everything, so you just kind of
Exactly.
surrender.
That's just kind of how it is.
Leading into 'cause it seems like you like stress or you can handle it. How do you
You like stress.
I don't like stress, but
definitely handle
I
it?
invite it all into my
Yeah,
life, so.
exactly. What does a typical day look like for you? Like, how do you get ready for the day? How do you get your mind right? What do you?
Yeah. So I was introduced to like mindfulness and law of attraction, like spirituality during my barbering through certain clients.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
then,
'Cause you were young
Yeah.
to get
and then
interested. That's really good.
when I got into real estate, a couple of the guys in my office who were killing it were like super like into like Think and Grow Rich and Bob Proctor and all these things. So I just developed a morning routine that's obviously evolved over time. But my morning practice is like super important. So it's like non-negotiable. I wake up, I meditate. I do a lot of like Joe Dispenza work now. And very much into the whole like scripting, writing out what my future looks like,
Vision.
the vision, visualizing it all, bringing in those emotions, future self, connecting with it, and trying to maintain that throughout my day, like those feelings and those emotions.
A lot of successful people, that is like literally how they start their days. It's
Yeah.
I mean, there's a common element
yeah,
here that I think maybe
absolutely.
people should pay attention
What time do
to.
you wake up in the morning?
6:30. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to start early.
Pre-COVID, I was way earlier.
Okay.
Way earlier than
Yeah,
6:30?
I was in the gym by like 4:30 and pre-COVID.
Why?
And you went to bed when?
You know what? I was so present during that time. I was able to connect the most with myself.
During COVID.
COVID, I was meditating for 2 hours every morning when we were off work.
Wow.
Yeah, I really tapped into myself. COVID, I woke up a whole new piece of me.
Because it took away all those distractions that we were
Yes.
feeling pre-COVID.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
And you're actually able to be with yourself and not have to worry.
Pros and cons with COVID.
Pros and cons with COVID.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about myself and
Yeah.
my abilities, I guess you can say.
I mean, it's good you took the time to do that because I think rather than a lot of people became alcoholics and, just did
Yeah, there's
things.
different ways to cope. I got really into the morning routine and taking advantage of just having the time, reading, indulging, and like filling up my cup.
And not driving in traffic.
And not driving in traffic.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is one thing
is one of the biggest
biggest things I miss so
Yeah.
much. I used to go downtown in 20 minutes. And
I know, right?
Yeah, like,
So freeing.
Yeah.
It was.
Planning your day now around traffic, especially since kids went back to school this year, it just was a dramatic shift.
Yeah.
You want
Like,
me
it
to
was
be
huge.
somewhere at
Picked up heavily.
5:30? How the hell am I going to get there?
No way. I don't do anything at that time of day.
We have an event tonight and
At
it's at
6:30.
6:30.
Oh, wow.
Like, oh, we better leave like 2 hours before.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's like no
Or
way
I'm
around
just going to
it.
be super late. Like, just,
Yeah.
I'll leave when it starts and then
Yeah.
get there on time. Yeah. So lead generating. So you're currently online quite a bit, content. Is that your main source of leads, or what are your, like, let's say 5 sources of lead generating? How do you?
So online is one. Work in the database and network. So a repeat referral business is probably my biggest source. And then the social media is just the big business card
Reinforcement.
that helps.
I think about it
Keep
like
it
that
alive.
too, a business card.
Yeah. It's just the big business card, irrelevant, top of mind all the time. And it just helps bring those calls. And even if I'm not really following up with people, I'm top of mind and they'll call me.
Yeah.
Or, someone I haven't spoken to in several years will reach out and fully trust me just because they see what I'm doing. So I'm big on posting results
Yeah.
on social. Like some agents are like, there's that battle between, do we post just listed, just solds?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to post that stuff anymore. People know I sell. I kind of do a hybrid where I'll still post I'm producing just so people can see like, oh, he's like, okay, he's selling. He just sold this house last week. Oh, he sold 2 houses this month. It's like, especially now because, being able to trust your agent
Yeah.
in this market, like you can't just list a house and sell it anymore. You actually got to work it. So if they're seeing the results in these times, I feel like they'll trust you more
Yeah.
and actually call you maybe over someone else.
Yeah.
So, but yes, the outside of the box videos have brought me to where I am today. So
How did you grow that though? Like how are you tracking like how you grew your social media?
I wasn't tracking. I was just diving in deep end again, just total surrender.
Yeah.
That's how I built
Just
it.
post. You're just posting.
Just posting. And
It seems natural. You know what people want to watch.
I'm being me. So I've always wanted to just I always wanted to be an actor. Really into stupid humor.
Actor, military, teacher.
I know.
Yeah.
The acting thing was, it just, I don't know. I had no confidence growing up, but my mom's like, she got me an agent. She's like, this or hockey.
Oh.
I'm like, hockey. Be with my friends. So I didn't go the acting route, but always secretly wanted to be in films and stuff. So when I built up this confidence in myself and this new identity, I was like, okay, let me put myself on camera and just be Matt. Because my first video in real estate, atrocious. It sucked. I was not myself. This kid with braces and a suit, posted up, just trying to be like every other realtor.
Yeah.
Welcome to 123 Street. Check it out. Terrible. I got fired. Didn't sell that house.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So
That's how you learn though, right? Like if
Big
people
time.
don't realize all of the failures that happen before you reach your success.
yeah.
They just see, because most people on social media only post the good stuff. They don't, you don't see everything that you went through to get to that part.
Yeah. Exactly. So I leave that video up. I said, if you guys really want to take some time and scroll, you can find it. Terrible.
I'm absolutely going to look for that.
Yeah, it's you just see me this blue suit, just on the railing, and I learned a lot in that day. I'm like, okay, the video guy you're working with or video girl needs to connect with you. They have to have a similar thought process and creativity flow as you, or else it's not going to work because it all comes down to the editing and everything. So it's I knew right then and there. I'm like, okay, I need to find a videographer or a team that has the same humor as me, can help build on my ideas, and can actually execute the final edit how I want it to look.
Who helps you with that right now?
I have different editors, different video people.
Oh, okay.
For different styles of video.
Oh.
If I want to go really skitty and humorous, I use a certain company. My listings and all that stuff is another company.
Okay.
So just depends on the vibe I'm going for. But I'm very picky for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should be. And that makes a lot of sense that, a certain photographer can do or videographer can do a certain type of art. So
Yeah. Oh, it's super important. Yeah, you got to build your team.
You got to be resourceful,
Yeah.
right? Like
Definitely.
finding the right people is not easy.
right
No.
people, so leading into that, how did you and Cash come together?
He liked what I did.
Who's Cash? Explain who Cash is first.
Alavi? Cash Alavi.
Yeah, just so everybody knows who Cash is.
Funny guy. You see him pretending to be this Persian realtor. He's blown up being that Persian realtor.
He's amazing.
Online, doing funny skits, incredible actor. And then Cameron from Gray Media, I was doing videos with him, and so was Cash. He's like, I had Cash on my podcast, so we met there, but he's like, I think you and Cash would be funny together. He said, Cash is down. I'm like, oh shit, if Cash is down, I'm down. So let's do some shit. So we booked a day and we just got pretty stupid and funny and made some skits. And now we have like an actual set amount of time per week where we're going to get together and record more skits because they work. We're not in business together, not in the same brokerage or anything, but who knows what these things lead to, right? He's very much like me, an opportunist.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of open to whatever comes because based on the results, it seems that people are liking the videos and they're working.
Well, and you're having fun.
And we're having so much fun.
Right? Like
we're having a blast.
I think it's unique, it's different. And it's like internal thoughts your realtors have.
Exactly.
But just a little like obviously exaggerated.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just trying to relate on this. Like we have like that's my favorite part of the job is doing that stuff. And business does come out of it. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Who comes up with the skits? Like how do you guys
We both do.
Like what can you run us run us through like a prep of a skit.
I suck at consuming content. I'm good at making it. I suck at consuming. Okay. I don't know the trends. I don't know what's going on. I actually fail there.
Okay.
He's really good at that stuff. He's like, here's a trending video. We should reenact this. Or look at this video. We should reenact this. I'm really good on the fly with coming up with like what to say and the creativity and the flow of the video and adding to it. So we do really well there. So we'll just pick a day where me, him, and Cam will get on a call. And say, all right, here's our next 3 videos here. And how can we spin this idea, or let's create our own. And then when we actually do our film day, we bring multiple changes of clothes. And we know what videos we're going to execute on.
You guys do that every week?
We're every Friday now.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll time block about 3 hours, 3-4 hours.
That's a commitment.
Yeah. The content game is like, you have to commit.
It's got to be consistent, and we just know that there's going to be results from it. So
that's the key, consistency.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, like even with our podcast, like, debating if it should be once a month or twice every other week. And people that I've talked to that do this on a regular basis are like, no, if you don't produce it and you don't have it consistently, people are just going to find something else to watch. That's on a consistent basis.
Especially in the podcast game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things you have to accept where we're at with the world. And everyone's consuming on their phones right now.
Yeah.
It's their computer.
It is.
I had a call with a client that we were talking about the podcast. He's like, listen, I'm a busy dad. I can only listen to so many a week. He's like, if you stop producing weekly, he's like, then I'm just going to fill that time with another one. I was like, okay, all right, I understand. Like
you were told.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like, yeah. And a few other people are like, if we don't see it, like when we were at some point we were thinking of just cutting back a little bit, and they were like, no, you have to be out weekly. And I was like, okay, all right, I got it. Message is heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm new to this. This is new for me. So I know that you've been doing it for a few years. Christina's been doing it for a little while. So we're following her lead.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like COVID, I doubled down and a million doors opened up.
Really?
Yeah. So that's when like the light bulb went off and it's like, okay, this content thing works.
It's a thing.
Yeah. I didn't really have a game plan around it, but like just got to do more of it, whatever that is.
So promotions and like people sponsoring you and things like that. Is that a funnel of income now? Passive income for you?
I've had different opportunities. I've become more selective. You'll get random like, oh, hey, can you promote this? We'll pay you for this video. Or I just want to do stuff I align with. I was sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft, which was fun.
Cool.
In 2019, pre-COVID. Nothing to do with real estate. I'm like, why are you guys picking me? But that was cool.
Why did they pick you?
You know what? Young guy. They liked the vibe.
Yeah,
it was
you were
me
comfortable.
And some other influencers like some hip hop artists, promoters, like nothing really to do with what I did. And then just a realtor.
So you just like spin off something about Miller Genuine Draft?
Yeah, they sent us to parties. And I'm like, I'm trying to post this. I'm like, this is just the life I'm living right now. And people just connected with it, you know? So I just, I'm very like, post your personal stuff, post who you are. That was a cool experience.
Yeah.
Again, one of those things where it's like
random.
A door opened and like, let's just jump into it. Met some really cool people doing that. And
At the end of the day, you're just meeting new clients too.
Yeah.
Like you're just meeting people that you could never, like, you know, there might be one day they'll buy a house and it's just like connecting with all of them.
literally.
Yeah.
So that whole space is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you change anything about the way you got into social media?
No. Nothing.
Everything's perfect.
You know what? I've learned even the mistakes I've made, all that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I just, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. Sometimes the best way to learn, obviously,
Yeah.
is through your mistakes.
The best. So everything just kind of unfolded nicely. And trying to keep going the same way, the same mentality.
So let's pull it back to just, we're all going through this market together. How are you dealing with it? How are you, like, what are you telling clients right now? How are you getting them off the fence or to put an offer in?
Yeah. So I think expectation setting. So communication is huge right now. And having proper expectations set early on and not being scared.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching a lot of my agents is proper communication, expectation setting up front. Don't be scared to, no worries. Don't be scared to walk away from a listing.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah, if
That's a
they're
big
not,
one.
if they're not realistic with what's going on, because things, depending on the market you're in, but things are changing pretty drastic in some areas.
It's like nothing you can do in some
No.
situations. Like,
And
Well,
if-
the expectations have changed. I feel like we're in a bit of a standoff, right, between sellers and buyers.
for sure.
So, I mean, yeah, like you know, walking away from a listing, like if the seller's not understanding where the market is going, you could be spinning your wheels for months.
or they're
that's the
referring to
thing.
things that you said 5-6 months ago.
Yeah.
You're like, well, you said, and it was like, that was me.
Yeah, but that's not the same.
You
Yeah.
know, that's a problem I'm having right
Yeah.
now. That's a situation I'm in.
What I do, I sit down with the client because I'm majority listings right now. And I sit down with him. I say, here, guys, here's my computer. Let's draw the map. Here's our area. Here's the last 60 days. Here's activity. What do you see with the pricing? I just take them through it, right? I'm like, and here's the current listings. As you can see, like, yeah, sure. Here's some sold numbers from 2 weeks ago, but here's some current listing numbers. And even if we're going off the most recent sale from 2 weeks ago, we're probably gonna be overpriced within a week based on all these people undercutting each other. And that's just the world we're in right now.
And then
right?
you have to understand the motivation for why they're selling.
Exactly. So I'm like, and I've gone through that. I've literally priced the home and we're overpriced in a week. But having that upfront communication, and I do weekly reports with my sellers like every week. Like, here's what's going on. They have full trust in me, and that's why it's super important to set that early. Because if you're giving unrealistic expectations or you're just buying into what they want, and then you have to circle back even harder to be like, okay, so here's what's happening now. Like, I know I told you this.
Yeah.
It's just going to create more friction. And if you're not mentally ready to have these hard conversations, whether like maybe you're a bit of an avoidant person, it's like, oh, I don't want to call my seller, or like, I don't want to deal with it. It's going to create animosity with that relationship, and it could likely end up pretty bad in terms of what ends up happening.
It's a trust issue.
It is. So it's like, just be brutally honest with them. Tell them all the hard things they need to hear. If they still don't jive, then you make a decision for yourself, because it's really not worth it. All the overhead, right?
Yeah.
Like, your
Time,
listing,
overhead.
the staging renewals.
Yeah.
It's a thing now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a consistent thing.
Now I'm glad I have my own staging inventory all of a sudden again. At one point I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, thank God.
It's huge. Yeah. So if
Yeah.
you're ready to be ready to take on inventory and maybe not even sell a house, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a hard time right now. It's
Yeah.
definitely a more difficult time
It's changed.
being an
I mean,
agent. And if you're not ready for these things, if you still have the mentality like, I'm going to list the home and sell it, business may not be for you.
Yeah, people are having a hard time adjusting right now because it's been a seller's market for a really long
Yeah.
time. So to see a buyer's market happen after so many years with all these increases, eight in a row,
Yeah.
9 it's going to be, it's significant. And I don't know when's the last time we saw something like this happen. Never, right? Like
No, this is
all these
unprecedented.
variables all at once.
That's the thing. It is.
Yeah. And clients expect you to have the answers, but we're just trying to mitigate what's going on in front of us. Because you're right. Between 2 weeks, the prices could completely shift.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
I
it's
have been seeing that before my eyes.
Yeah, keeping them updated. You know, we don't have a crystal ball, but we can share with you what we know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Or wait till spring, like everybody keeps saying.
Well, I mean, everyone said, let's wait till the fall market to sell, and bang,
Yeah.
tons of inventory. So it's like, you gotta be a little
Yeah.
creative. Even as a buyer, like, you're not gonna time the bottom. If you love the
Listen,
house,
exactly. You're not in multiples.
buy it. You're not in multiples.
What was it? Date the rate.
Marry the house.
Marry the house,
Yeah.
marry the price.
Yeah.
Date the rate, marry the price, which I think is a really fabulous saying. It makes a lot of sense.
I agree. So it's just proper education,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of psychology, a lot of human psychology.
Yeah.
Where it's a little backwards, but there is no doubt opportunity out there.
Yeah.
And if you are a buyer and you find something that you love
Mhm.
and it makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
do it. You know,
Yeah.
don't be scared to.
You're not
So-
buying it. You're buying it for long term, not for
Yeah,
short term, right?
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people were always thinking like, well, you're just going to make money quickly, but
Mhm.
now you're going to have to live in your house for
Yeah.
a little while and, actually do the 5-year plan, 7-year plan that
Exactly.
we always talk about with clients when they buy.
Yeah.
We're going to be here 5 to 7 years, but then they call you after 3 and say they want to move.
Yeah,
But now they're actually going to have to stay in their homes,
Yeah.
exactly.
which is fine. All right. So we're heading to the end of our pod, but we always have some fun stuff that we do at the end.
Mm.
So what is your favorite GTA neighborhood?
Probably biased. East Bayfront, where I live.
East Bayfront. Okay.
Yeah.
We've had a couple people say the beaches. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of nice to hear something different.
Yeah, a little more in the
Yeah.
city, but still east.
Why?
Love
Just like it's really growing. It's a growing pocket. It's all new, all waterfront. It's like the last little bit of Toronto waterfront left.
It's changing.
Changing
that whole
drastically.
demographic is changing. Yeah.
No longer just the
I've seen
government
your
and
view.
LCBO.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think when sometimes you post your view.
Yeah.
You have a water view.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
super
great way-
quiet.
Yeah.
It's not too far from it. You can still walk into the city.
It's pretty central.
It's still pretty central.
Yeah.
Sugar Beach is right there.
But you're not like
Smell the sugar.
driving through all of it.
Traffic sucks. I'll be honest. There's
doesn't
no way
matter-
around
it
it.
doesn't
Like
matter
going
where you
east
go.
to west is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like even going to the gym sometimes for me because I work out in Liberty Village.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, so I've been walking a lot more.
Yeah.
But love the area. Love
Take a
what's
bike.
happening.
Get a scooter.
Yeah.
I know electric scooters and in the brain.
It's on
Thinking
mine
about
too.
it.
She boots around near my house all the time. I'm
Nice.
like, I gotta get one of those. It's just
I take it in the morning to the gym and stuff. It just gets me out of the cage.
Yeah.
Out of the car. I've been driving, I feel like half my life. So just to be, I piled on the clothes this morning and I wrote it because
I need to track like how much time we spend in our cars. We should track it,
Oh, that'd be disgusting.
half my life.
I wouldn't even want to know.
right? Like it's almost like how much time you spend sleeping. It's
Yeah.
almost the same amount.
That would be gross.
When someone starts to complain about like, oh, I had to drive here and then I got to drive back, and it's like, dude, I do that. Like,
yeah, we're literally at all ends of the city every day. Like it's like, oh, I'm starting in East York. I'm going to end up, in Mississauga. I'm back in, north end of the city. It's like,
I know.
and the cost of gas on top of
I
that.
know. All my business is Vaughan Simcoe.
Oh,
Majority.
Simcoe?
Yeah, I do a lot of listings out there.
oh, like
I've sold in
Innisfil,
Simcoe.
Tottenham.
That's not close.
It's not.
No, I have family
So-
in Tottenham.
Like I said, my car loves me.
And you better have a nice car that you love back.
I do. I love it.
Okay.
I do.
What makes an agent rare?
I think someone who could be different, think outside the box, and ready to work, like ready to actually do all the hard things behind the scenes that most people don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, incredible work ethic, ready to fail as well, and just go through the grit and the grind.
Ready to fail.
Yeah.
I think that's a highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some things
Like,
just don't work
let
out.
go of some fear.
Mhm.
Don't like be too attached to the outcome,
Yeah.
and just like get ready to rock it because it's a fun but tough industry.
It is a tough
So-
industry. Yeah.
And you have to. There's how many of us? You have to differentiate yourself
Yeah.
from everybody
What
else.
is the count now?
I think
Do you know?
77,000.
Yeah, like half of the realtors in Canada live in Ontario.
Yeah.
There's 140,000 realtors in all of Canada, and 70,000 live in.
Ontario, I think, is
In Toronto.
100K.
Is it
Yeah.
100?
GTA is
yeah.
GTA is
77,
77.
Yeah.
something like that.
So more than half live in Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And yeah.
And think about our population. We're not the States,
No.
right?
So there's a lot of realtors that are barely doing one deal
Yeah.
a
So
year.
Jordan Skrinko put out a video recently. I think I could be butchering this, but it's literally those figures where it's like 95% of the business has been doing by 5%. So
Yeah.
like based off sales volume, 90% of agents probably didn't sell a house last month.
Yeah, we're starting to really see that now.
Yeah.
hmm
I don't normally talk to other people about that stuff, but now I'm hearing it from them, and I'm
Yeah.
Well, because everybody, it's September, October is our money making months.
And I
Like
think-
that's where we harvest for the winter.
Yeah, I think now more than ever is most important to double down in your business.
Yeah.
If you like, much fear as you have, however scared you are, like now's the time, because I think 2024, those numbers are going to drop drastically as people naturally, 90% of agents aren't doing a deal.
Yeah.
They're probably have to get source income somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. It's just
It's not the first time this has happened. Like I've been doing this for 22 years. It's not the first time that I've seen this rotation of agents come in because they're like, oh, the market's great. I'm going to sell houses.
Yeah.
Like how many times do you hear, so, oh, I'm going to get my real estate license.
Exactly.
You know, and then, you know, when things aren't as good and not moving so quickly and the houses don't sell themselves and you actually have to negotiate for a living.
You actually pay for your business. Like
Yeah.
you actually have to put money into it. That's the most interesting conversation I have with some people when they're like, oh, I'm like, but how are you expecting to make money if you can't even spend money into it? Like, how do you want to expose yourself amongst the masses? And people don't realize that you need money to even make any of the money.
because your services shouldn't change.
No.
That's how you're competing.
Yeah.
So that overhead.
Yeah.
So you got to be ready. So I'm very curious to see how next year pans out in terms of
I think
how many agents.
I think all of us are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure half of them are going to drop out.
Yeah.
It's happened before.
For sure.
That's fine.
Yes, you've seen it.
Yeah. Well, then you know who's got the stamina,
Exactly.
right? Who are the agents that actually know what they're doing? They're
Yeah.
the ones that are going to still be here next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for being on the pod today.
Thanks for having
you.
me. It
This
was
was
wonderful.
super
Super
informative.
insightful.
fun.
Yeah. I've been really excited to meet you. So thank you for being on today.
Likewise. Thank you.
I'm going to
Thank you,
probably
guys.
be calling you about a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no worries. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Amazing. And thanks for tuning in, guys. If you could like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And Matt, let our audience know where to find you.
Yeah, so Matt Campoli on Instagram, MattCampoli. And you just Google me and all my stuff is there, really. That's pretty much it. But mainly Instagram.
Perfect.
That's where I looked you up.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff on there.
Yeah, same name everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so
thanks,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.